Guys, welcome back to Vincefield Custom. So today I'm sharing with you a Sideshow Collectibles Jessica Rabbit premium format statue that was customized into a Leia cosplay outfit. Now, I've done a few of these in the past, and I was actually working on this one and the other one I just showed recently on my channel at the same time. But usually whenever something like that happens, I always tell the clients, like, let's make yours different. If you have any ideas, if you want to try anything, let me know. If you have any mock-ups, send them to me. But I never share ideas between clients. I always keep everything personal, one-on-one. So sometimes clients come to me and say, hey, you know, I want to make that slave Leia out of my Jessica Rabbit statue. Can you do the same thing? And I usually say no. I will do it, but let's change it up. Let's come up with different colors, ideas, add-ons, bases, stuff like that. So this one, while I was working on this one, the client actually did a whole mock-up. They had their own ideas, and we kind of just flushed it out together. Sadly, it would have been done a long time ago, but we had the COOF pandemic, supply chains were rough. I had to outsource the cloth to the seamstress, and she was backed up. So finally everything's done, and it came out pretty well. Now, there is a couple things that I'll go over with this one that I don't have in hand, but all in all, it worked out pretty well. But you can see, though, this one is a little bit more of a throwback to Darth Vader. The outfit's got that shiny black to it. It's got some purple undertone there, but it's very subtle underneath the chest and a little bit down on the bottom of the waist plates. Because if I went too much on it, it would become out too purple. But we wanted to keep it more black. So it is there, but it's very hard to see because we gloss it up. But you can see the eyeshadow is darker lips. Skin tone is pretty much kind of similar to most of the Jessica Rabbits I do. But the gold is a very muted kind of gold. It's not as bright. Sadly, though, with the chain, with supply issues still an issue, I went to 2 Michaels and I went to 2 Hobby Lobbies, and I can't find the chain in this type of a style or anything close to this that will match the gold that I did on her. Sadly, I had no choice but to find this one. But it is magnetized, so if the client ever wants to, they can just pop out the magnet and they can swap out a different chain. But sadly, I couldn't find any of the gold magnet pieces. I went, like I said, to Hobby Lobbies and stuff. They don't have them in my area. Maybe they have them online. I can kind of, you know, tell the client, hey, if you want, you can go online and maybe you can find something there and it'll match. But all works out pretty well. So I left the long chain there. They can cut it if they want it shorter. They can swap it out and they can do whatever. Now, there will be a R2 figure that's a 1/4 scale that goes with her on the base. I don't have that one, but we kind of made the base a little bit bigger so they can add that. I think he says it's in scale and it should fit. Hopefully it does, but I did the best I could on my end without having it. But we'll go over the base and a little bit of what's going on there. But I think the R2 he has is kind of more, I think it's a black version of like one of the Empire R2-D2 things. I'm not really sure. I didn't really get any pictures, but hopefully when they get it, it works out pretty well. Now, she does have a phallic symbol in this hand, and that's the kind of funny thing that they said to me in the beginning. Now, the problem is her hand is very, very, very small, and there's not many fingers there, so I can only do what I could do. So let me make sure I'm in frame here. So he sent me a bunch of these Lego lightsabers. So we have the green and we have the red. I did open up a green package just to kind of see if I could get the lightsaber in there. And I did work on it, but I destroyed that lightsaber. I had to cut the wire and I lost all the pieces. So the sad thing is I can't, I mean, I could put the lightsaber in her hand perfectly, but if this wire breaks, so you can see these wires are really small. If this wire breaks, he'll never be able to light it up and get another one back in there. So he mentioned to me that I think he's over in the California areas or something where they have that gel you put on your shells for plates and statues. It's earthquake gel or something. So he said he could put a little dab in the hand and then he could probably put the lightsaber in there. So this is magnetized here. So this way he can run the wire behind the cloth and do it. I would like to show you guys now here, but I don't have any plugs or long USB wires to run over here. I don't feel like trying to put her next to my computer to plug it into that and then break it or anything, so I'm just kind of showing you what's going on. So basically I think he could put the hand this way or he could put the hand that way. So it's kind of like a little bit of a phallic symbol, but she's got a lightsaber, which was a really fun idea. I just wish her hands were a little bit more, had meat and fingers on it where I could actually set it up to swap it in and out. But sadly I can't. But that's kind of a cool thing that's going to happen at the end. Now, One of the other things too about the base, which was not my idea, it was the client's idea. We'll get a little bit closer for you guys, show you what's going on with the base. So, as you can see, there is a grate and there's a rancor there. What he wanted was, he wanted it so she was stepping on the part in Return of the Jedi, I guess, if I remember correctly. Like I said, I'm not a Star Wars fan. And the rancor is at the bottom there, and it looks like it's going to come up and grab her feet. So there was a bone in his mouth, so I had to Photoshop the bone out. And then what we did is, I had to come up with the idea on how to work this. At first, he wanted me to do like a hand painting of a rancor he sent. I said, I'll never be able to do it. But we came up with the idea where I made a flat base, flat resin square base. And then what we did is we printed out the rancor. And then I took the idea he sent me, and I did this in Illustrator, and I sent it to my friend Meta John in Canada, and he actually etched this out in plexiglass. So basically we have a sheet of resin, then we have a piece of photo paper of the rancor, and then we have the plexiglass on top. And then what I did is around the edges I sculpted all the rocks and everything to make it look like, you know, it's in that cave and everything, so she's stepping on it, and that's kind of what we came up with. So if he has that R2 figure, I think it could go here, or it could fit over there or something, and it should fit. Hopefully there's enough room in there. So she is removable from the base, and that's kind of the idea. So that's a little bit of a different take, and that's kind of it was just a little bit tricky to figure it out on my end. You know, the client has the idea, they send it to me, and I had to figure out the best way of doing this without going too crazy. So I had to do some, you know, Photoshop work. I had to send out the file to get printed. I had to make sure everything was in scale, measured correctly, so it would look right. And that's kind of what we came up with. You know, I had to sculpt these pieces and then glue them in at the end with the cloth. Now, there is no wires with the cloth, because if I add more wires to it with these little tiny waists in these areas, it would be a nightmare to try to bend it and get it in there, and we wouldn't have it as flush as it is possible now. So there's only so much I can do with certain sculpts. It is possible, but it would take way more work. And since this waist and everything is so thin in here, chopping out more stuff in here would just kind of scare me to maybe this snapping and stuff. So I don't like to go too crazy if I can't with certain items. But I think with the cloth flowing like this, you could kind of just sit there and play with it and do where you want to put it. But all in all, it worked out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, I like working on Jessica Rabbit. I like working on Harley Quinn when we do these cosplay outfits, because you know it's Jessica Rabbit. Even if you put her in a cop uniform, a construction worker, cosplay, Playboy Bunny, Wonder Woman, you know it's Jessica Rabbit. Same thing with Harley Quinn. You know, with the makeup and the blonde hair, you can throw her on anything and it works. You can't really take a character like Catwoman and throw her onto a different outfit and say, hey, that's Catwoman in Slave Leia. It kind of wouldn't work right unless you throw Catwoman elements into it. Same thing with like Wonder Woman. If you want to make Wonder Woman into a Slave Leia, you have to kind of do the armor and the, you know, red and blue and all that stuff into it. So it is possible, but with these characters it works out pretty well. But all in all, it worked out great. So it's pretty straightforward. Kind of just works out. I like the colors on this one. It's a little bit of that darker tone. Gives it more of like a Sith look to her, but not as much. But maybe it could be. You never know. But that is Slave Leia. Jessica Rabbit, I think number 3 or 4. I think it's 3. I think I only did 3. But then again, I could be wrong. But let me know what you guys think. Do you like the ideas of the client with the lightsaber and the base? Do you like the darker tones? Are you more a fan of the previous versions I've done? So far, I like them all. I mean, it's just a fun character, and it's great to see all of them that I've done, and still a little bit of elements changed up for each one. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.